On the 12th of January 2010, an earthquake shook Haiti. It lasted less than 40 seconds, but in its wake, over 300,000 people died. Countless were injured, and the capital, Port-au-Prince, laid in ruins. Immediately, images of the death, destruction and suffering went around the world. Donations and aid organizations started pouring into the country. What has happened since then? Have the aid organizations been able to alleviate the suffering? What happens if they run out of money? Have Haitians been able to leave the tent cities to return to their homes? Has the cholera outbreak subsided? What role has the government played? The site where the presidential palace used to be today is an empty lot. Some of the debris has been brought here to be transformed into new bricks for reconstruction. A symbolic act.
We're almost out of the emergency phase and now we're in the reconstruction. So that project fits well in that second phase.
More than 3 years after the earthquake, many aid organizations are cutting back on their presence in Haiti, or even pulling out entirely. Money is tight, and other disasters elsewhere are clamoring for attention. The focus of those that remain is on the sustainable improvement of conditions in the country. Beyond their salaries, the workers in this project are trained in management, a marketable skill that will be of use to them long after this NGO leaves. I teach the workers things that will help them take charge of their lives. Our goal here is to create opportunities for them and the whole country. Charlene's boss is Sean Penn. The Hollywood star came to Haiti after the quake. He felt he had to do something and started an aid organization.
To be in a very impoverished place like Los Angeles and to come here and be injected with live spirit is a very healthy thing. To recognize the basic human rights that are available in Los Angeles that are not available here is to have an obligation. I've always thought, as a parent, I've thought, what would it have been those 20 times that my child had a fever over 100? What would it have been to not have a cool cloth to put on their head, clean water to let them drink, or God forbid, an emergency room if needed? And that would be traumatic, waiting. Is my child going to live or die every time a fever comes? Almost every parent in Haiti has that experience almost every time. And that's an hour and a half from Miami Beach. There's only 9 million people here. This is a fixable thing.
And things have improved in the 3 years since the disaster. Camp Kodai was built in the dusty plains outside the capital some months after the quake. For those that had lost everything and had been forced to live in parks or by the side of the road, the camp was a vast improvement. Line after line of impeccably white tents. A model camp, right from the get-go. There is even a school now. The kids are very happy to be students again. The camp is home to 14,000 people. Plywood huts have replaced the tents. This too was meant to be only a temporary solution, but there's not enough money for more permanent structures. Makeshift arrangements are becoming the new norm in Haiti.
The role for aid organizations and our organization as well is to be catalysts in the whole process. We cannot provide everything. We provide what we can with the funding that we have. And it's not only the shelters, but with the shelters you had to provide them a living. So with the living, we provided them food for the initial days that they came here. We are providing income generation projects. You've seen the school. That's a beautiful school that's been built for all the children that are living here. And the economy will take on by itself as well.
And indeed, there are small signs that Camp Kodai is turning into a real village. I am never leaving this place again. This is my home now. In the beginning I had nothing, but I have built something for myself now. I have even started on an expansion for the restaurant. It will have a dance floor. You know, people have different ways of dealing with disaster. Some make the best of it and try to improve their situation. Others don't. I want to be one of those that get ahead. I want this to become the best, most beautiful restaurant in the area. I want people to come here to enjoy themselves. An entrepreneurial spirit, hard work and some luck have helped John Abner turn a bad situation into something positive. Such achievements are still an exception, but Haitians in general are masters of improvisation. They have had to survive on very little for a long time. Camp Korai is a success story. Its inhabitants have benefited from a lot of international aid, and some of them may actually be better off today than they were prior to the quake. But what about Haiti's rural areas, far away from the capital city? We make our way to the remote south, a region that is difficult to access and for this reason largely ignored in international media. Mud huts are the norm here. They are no match for natural disasters. Laurence Pierre lost his house in the quake, and what was left of his harvest was swept away by Hurricane Sandy. A German aid organization provided construction materials and helped Laurence build a brand new earthquake and hurricane-resistant house. Laurence beams with happiness. Can you imagine? When it rains, the water stays outside and we are dry inside. Beyond building houses, the focus of international assistance is to make Haitians less dependent on foreign aid. Teaching sustainability is the key to their success. Colin picks a number from a hat. It is a simple way of distributing goats in order to get people started on their path to self-reliance. Listen, everyone, it is important that you don't just run off to sell those goats. I know, it is tempting, but our donors would not be happy at all if you did that. Please wait a little longer until your goats have had some babies. Then you can sell those.
Colin
and her goats get on their way. It is only 5 minutes to my house, she tells us. They turn out to be Haitian minutes. It takes us almost an hour to get to what earthquake and hurricanes have left of her home. When the hurricane came through, I was so afraid. I was holding on to my children really tight. Once again, Colin has to start from scratch. Simple things like a few goats or a new hut can make a big difference in Haiti. Access to clean water is another example. That is now available in Bené, a small village on the southern tip of Haiti. People here used to get their water from the river. That often led to diseases like cholera. Since we built this fountain, there have been barely any cases of cholera. In fact, this is the region with the least cases in all of Haiti. But most Haitians are not that lucky. They have no access to clean drinking water or proper sanitation. So when cholera broke out in the fall of 2010, it spread like wildfire. Over 600,000 people have since been infected, thousands killed. New cases arrive every day at the clinic of Doctors Without Borders.
Cholera is eine sehr aggressive Krankheit.
Cholera is a very aggressive disease that lives in the water. When it rains, the latrines flood and it is very easy to get infected.
Überfluten die Latrinen und die Leute können sich sehr schnell infizieren.
Public information campaigns have helped to improve Haitians' understanding of the disease. People now know that they need to get help fast.
Innerhalb der ersten 6 Stunden
Within the first 6 hours of infection, the body can get dramatically dehydrated. This can lead to loss of consciousness, and after a while the organs cease to function. So it is crucial for patients to get treated quickly. Those that make it to the clinic have excellent prospects for survival. The treatment of cholera is very straightforward. The body basically needs to be rehydrated. Over and over, we saw how lives are being saved through fairly simple measures in Haiti. Nevertheless, there are voices that are critical of the work being done by the aid organizations. The loudest belong to government officials.
Different organizations that came here had to settle and came with food, with all kinds of things, and with some kinds of shelters, if you want, and they distributed them by themselves. But I don't think that we were part of the thing.
We ask him, what have you done? Have you done more?
No, because we have no means, but we prepared we are prepared now. I went to Korea recently, and I found out that in 1970, these people were even worse than us, not less than 60. They were so bad, in such a bad condition that Haiti helped them by giving them $2,000. Today, with a new plan, very simple, that they had, 30 years after, they became the 10th economical power in the world. And this is thanks to a plan that we are going to adopt.
Ambitious plans like these seem a world removed from the reality on the ground in Camp La Piste. Located on the former military airport, it is a far cry from even the order and progress of Camp Kodai. This is where the forgotten live, in and around the wrecks of old Air Force planes. They not only lost everything in the quake, but somehow also fell through the cracks of the aid effort. People here no longer have faith in the promises of their government. President Martelly lives in a palace, and look at us. Look at how we live. To think it was us who took to the streets in his support. It was us who shouted, Martelly, Martelly. He doesn't care about us or what we think. Life here is a constant fight for survival. Nobody has enough. Even 89-year-old Ivan must peel beans day in, day out in the scorching heat in order to survive. In the beginning we received some aid, food and other things, but that is over. Nobody helps us now. Ivan shares a tiny space underneath an aircraft wing with 5 grandchildren. She has nothing but a few ripped canvases to protect against the sun, the rain, and against the men that are after her granddaughter. Sexual attacks are common in the camps. Ivan is worried about their safety. Look at how I live. This is fit only for animals, not for people. But what can I do? I have no choice. Things may not improve in time for Ivan. But there is hope for a better future for her grandchildren. If aid organizations and the government can learn to work together. If the transition from emergency aid to sustainable development assistance is successful, and if the government manages to provide leadership, then Haiti may rise again.